All right, what's going on, everybody? What's going on, GE? How we all doing? Uh, just doing a live stream. It's been a while. I got the baby in here, so we're gonna see if we could do this while he's sleeping. I just fed him, so he's kind of making noise right now. All right. So we got some stuff to get into. It's been a little crazy in the news. We have a new president elect, so that's real interesting. Yeah, thank you. I just got this set up. How's it going, Neil? What's good? What's good? Yeah, I just kind of got this set up. Anyway, GE, I have something for you, so next time you're around, come on by. I plan on taking the baby to visit great grandma tomorrow, so if you're there, maybe I'll see you there. But yeah, we got some funny stuff. Got a new president elect. I moved. I had a baby, but here we go. I have to get a new... Can everybody hear me okay, by the way? Just let me know if it's too loud or anything. So I moved from Louisiana to New Mexico, so I got to get a new concealed carry permit, and that's crazy. We got a new Department of National Health and Human Services, RFK, coming in, and he's supposed to make us, thank you, GE, make America healthy again, but they caught him in this compromising photo of him eating McDonald's, and I haven't heard him put out an official statement yet, but I can imagine it's something like, it's okay to eat the burgers and the Coca-Cola. It's practically fine to eat. And I didn't even eat the fries. Everything is fine. Something like that. And then, you got Elon there. He was counting all the fries that RFK was throwing on the floor, At the end, he was like, he threw 29 fries under the table, Anyway. We got Tim Dillon here had something to say about it, and kind of agree with him. So let's just check that out real quick.
Obesity map reveals states RFK Jr. might target first. They got a fat map here.
Right.
And he's coming. Do you understand this? Get the fat map up. What are our fattest states?
Louisiana, Arkansas,
That's where
Alabama,
I'm from.
Mississippi, Oklahoma, West Virginia, Iowa.
RFK is going to go on a tour of our fattest states. And he's going to go on a tour, and he's going to tell people, it's enough, it's over. It's over. He's going to take it. There should be a press photo of him taking something out of someone's hand. Just a 400-pound woman standing there in Alabama, and he takes a biscuit right out of her hand, and the headline is, it's over. It's over now. He's got to get tough. We cannot, I'm telling you, you want to talk about a dictatorship, the one area that we really need fascism in this country is food. Shut it down. Taco Bell closes at 11 now. How about that?
I don't know. What do you guys think? I think they got a lot of crazy stuff in the ingredients. I think if we start with that, but anyway, let's just hear what he has to say. We'll just finish this up real fast.
Fascism, food, we need it. Me and Ray used to drive through Taco Bell at 1:45 and get the Baja Chicken Gordita. Bring it back, cowards. I would get a a Mexican pizza. I would get a little, and then I would get a supreme cheese pizza with the sauce. And I would dunk it in the tomato sauce and eat the cheese pizza. And then after that, you would eat the Baja Gordita, which was kind of zesty and spicy and cool. Shut it down. And I would do this at 2 a.m. You have to shut it down. If this man does not do that, we are doomed. He has to stop it.
Yeah. Where I'm from in New Orleans, you can eat or drink 24/7. So I don't know. I guess I know in New York City, I don't know if it was the whole state, but I know for sure it was at least in the city. They outlawed Big Coke. Like let me start over. They outlawed like extra large sodas. So, you know, everybody else was like, "Oh, how could they? Whatever." And other people argued, "Well, just get 2 of the other ones." Well, that's kind of an inconvenience having 2 Cokes, 2 sodas to, equal your 1 giant one. So of course people wouldn't do it out of inconvenience. So it kind of worked. So maybe little laws or, regulations like that might work, even though they're supposed to be deregulating, but we'll see. As I drink my Baja Blast 0 sugar. All right. Anyway, that was pretty funny. The guy's a character. Before we get into the concealed carry stuff, I wanted to bring up this story. Milwaukee man accidentally discharges gun, killing friend, sentenced. Judge sentenced John Hoff to 2 years in prison in connection with the accidental fatal shooting of his friend in May. He pled no contest to a single charge of homicide by a negligent handling of a dangerous weapon. According to the complaint, police were dispatched on Monday, May 27th, to the intersection of Humboldt and Center regarding a shooting. Officers ran to assist the shooting victim, who was lying on the ground near a car. The defendant, John Huff, was at the scene trying to help the victim along with another person. A woman at the scene told police Huff was the person who shot the victim. When police spoke to Huff, he indicated the firearm was in a bag in the car. Despite life-saving measures by emergency crews, the shooting victim was pronounced dead at the scene. The medical examiner identified him as Hunter, I'm not even going to try, Notch Reiner of Woodstock, Illinois. One of the officers took Huff to his vehicle and asked what happened. Huff said he did not know what he had. Let me start over. Huff said he did not know that he had one in the chamber of his gun, and he was taking the top slide off of his firearm, and he accidentally discharged the firearm, striking his friend in the back. The next day, detectives interviewed Huff, who provided more information about what led up to the shooting. Huff said he had known the deceased for about 3 years, and on Monday, they went to a bar on Brandy Street to meet friends. The two hung out at the bar for 3 or 4 hours, and then they were headed to an arcade. While in the car, Huff was talking about his gun and, quote, wanted to show another person that he could disassemble it and that he knew what he was doing, the complaint said. He clearly proved he did not know what he was doing. Huff then stated, "I was just an idiot. I was trying to take it apart. I usually don't carry around in the chamber, so I pulled the slide back, locked it back, and I didn't take the magazine out. That was my problem," the complaint said. And when I heard the sound, and we were all like freaking out. All right. The first thing you do when you clear a weapon, you drop the mag, you clear the chamber. Verify you could see through that bitch. Drop the mag first. Drop the mag, clear the chamber. I've seen so many videos online of like even people on a live stream like fucking doing dumb shit, and they'll pull out, you know, their gun. I've seen one guy straight up pull it out and then go to clear it, and he straight up racked the slide first, pulled out that round, and then dropped his mag. But when he racked his slide first, another round went up. So he thought it was empty, but it wasn't. So I think I'm spiking my levels here. Let me just turn this down. All right. When asked if Huff knew his weapon safety rules, Huff stated, "Don't point your gun at anything you don't intend to destroy. Always treat your weapon as if it's loaded." Well, that's 2 of the, 4. Oh, I guess that's it. That's the story. So he got 2 years for accidentally killing his friend. That's pretty sad. So everybody know your rules of firearm safety. Treat all guns as if they are loaded. Caveat to that one. Never let the muzzle gun point at anything that you're not willing to destroy. Keep your finger off the trigger until your sights are on the target and you have made the decision to shoot. Be sure of your target and what is behind it. There you go. How hard was that? Anyway, that kind of sucks. They were at the bar, the arcade, and I know how it is. You get a new piece and you want to show it off to your homies or whatever, because it's cool, especially if you're new to firearms and stuff like that. It's pretty exciting, and you should always be safe. You should never, shoot somebody in the back on accident. So, moving on. Thank you all for hanging out. Deep South EDC. We usually do like gear reviews, things like that. I recently did a gear review on this, well, not this, but this is part of it. But it's a battle belt from Core Essentials, and you guys can check that video out. I'll link it. And we set up my new battle belt. It's pretty awesome. I'm gonna be doing a video here soon of the med kit that I have on it. This med kit here, and sorry. Here we go. This med kit here. So I'm going to be doing a video on that. So if you haven't seen this video, check it out. Got some positive reviews. Core Essentials shared the video. They did send me the belt, but I love everything that they've sent me so far to test out. Haven't had a bad product yet. And check out how thick that is. This one has an inner belt and an outer belt, and the outer belt has all these MOLLE attachments all the way around it. But anyway, the med kit is pretty cool, so we'll be checking that out in a video here pretty soon. Alright, concealed carry. So I do need to get my concealed carry here for this new state of New Mexico that I moved to. So I moved back home from Louisiana after living there for over a decade. We had a baby, my son Mason. He's right over there. He turns a month old in a couple days. Yeah, so I'm pretty, I don't know, not really wanting to go through this new process here in the state because the state is pretty anti-gun. So they have a lot of like anti-gun laws. They have 7-day waiting period just to purchase one. It's pretty rough. They don't have reciprocity with Louisiana, which is unfortunate because I do have an ID, not an ID, but a permit for Louisiana. So let's check this out. This is from usconcealedcarry.com. How to get your permit in New Mexico.
Are you looking to get your permit to carry concealed in the state of
Neil
New Mexico?
McKenzie, I agree.
So,
I
this
just
video will
sorry.
show you the step-by-step process.
I agree, Neil McKenzie. I just moved from Louisiana where they just passed permitless concealed carry, which was awesome. I was a huge advocate for that. You know, Louisiana was slowly becoming a free state, and as soon as it did, I had to move. But I'm going to do my hardest to try to change some things here in New Mexico. So I got some new local politics to get into. You guys can, if you want, check out some of my old. I usually do live streams for like my local politics stuff. I kind of leave those out of the videos unless it's like, you know, something big. Like I covered like the NOPD, the New Orleans Police Department, and their inefficiency. I did like a whole hour-long video, like deep diving into that. But anyway, let's check this out. I know it's, you got to like take a long ass class, and I don't know.
On how to get your New Mexico concealed handgun license, all in one place and right now. First, it's important that you know the gun and concealed carry laws in your home state and anywhere you choose to carry a firearm. It's your responsibility to stay on the right side of the law. Now, in the state of New Mexico, this permit to carry is called a concealed handgun license, and it is issued to you at the state level by the Department of Public Safety. Here are the steps you need to take to apply for your permit to carry in New Mexico. First, you need to complete a firearms training course and submit your certificate of completion. New Mexico requires that concealed handgun license applicants successfully complete an approved firearms training course for the category and largest caliber of handgun the applicant desires to be licensed to carry. For persons...
What kind of rule is that? Let's listen to that again.
You need to take to apply for your permit to carry in New Mexico. First, you need to complete a firearms training course and submit your certificate of completion. New Mexico requires that concealed handgun license applicants successfully complete an approved firearms training course for the category and largest caliber of handgun the applicant desires to be licensed to carry. For persons...
All right, what's the largest caliber handgun that somebody can conceal carry? Because that's what I'm going to have to do. That rule is stupid, bro. What kind of rule is that? Let me know in the chat. What's the biggest handgun caliber? I can look it up in a second, but is it 5.7? This is stupid. No, that's not even the biggest. That's like a rifle round in a... Anyway.
Discharged from the military service within 20 years of the application for a license or renewal of a license, a firearms training course or refresher firearms training course is not required. The New Mexico Department of Public Safety prepares and publishes minimum standards for approved training courses, which must include classroom instruction, range instruction, and an actual demonstration by the applicant of his or her ability to safely use, at a minimum, a handgun of .32 caliber. A training course must not be less than 15 hours in length and must provide instruction regarding the following: the safe handling and knowledge of single and double action revolvers and semi-automatic handguns, the safe storage of handguns and child safety, safe handgun shooting fundamentals, live shooting of a handgun on a firing range, identification of ways to develop and maintain handgun shooting skills, federal, state, and local criminal and civil laws pertaining to the purchase, ownership, transportation, use, and possession of handguns, techniques for avoiding a criminal attack and how to control a violent confrontation, and techniques for nonviolent dispute resolution. Approved training courses are those certified or sponsored.
That's a lot of, well, after the video, I'll go through about how it was from Louisiana.
By a federal or state law enforcement agency, a college, a firearms training school, or a nationally recognized organization approved by the DPS that customarily offers firearms training. Every instructor of an approved training course is required to file a copy of the course description and proof of certification with the DPS annually. Refresher training is required at 2-year intervals. A licensee shall complete
2 years. In Louisiana, it was 5. So you could get a lifetime permit or you could get a 5-year permit. And even if you got a lifetime permit after 5 years, you didn't have to retake the whole class again, but you had to retake the target test again, which was 5 feet, 10 feet, 15 feet. At each length, or at each distance, you did 6 rounds, reload, 6 rounds, move the target, 6 rounds, reload, 6 rounds, move the target. Same thing.
a 2-hour refresher firearms training course 2 years after the issuance of the original or renewed license. The refresher course shall be approved by the department and shall be taken 22 to 26 months after the issuance of an original or renewed license. A certificate of completion shall be submitted to the department no later than 30 days after the completion of the
Neil McKenzie, depends on the size, shape of pew-pew, and your size and shape. I'm seriously considering a 10 millimeter. I usually carry a 9 millimeter. I like 10 millimeter because it's one bigger. Plus, I heard that 9 millimeter blows out lungs, and I don't want to be doing that to anybody. So I think 10 millimeters where it's at.
the course. The refresher can also be taken online through the New Mexico DPS. Once completed, no certificate will be given as it is sent to CCU through SurveyMonkey. Next,
SurveyMonkey,
submit your fingerprints. As of May 2023, the New Mexico Department of Public Safety has transitioned to a new fingerprint-supported background check provider. The New Mexico Applicant Fingerprint Processing is the applicant background check solution that is totally electronic and provides New Mexico residents the means to complete the required federal and state background checks quickly and conveniently. The New Mexico Department of Public Safety offers manual fingerprinting service at headquarters. Fingerprint hours are Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. in Santa Fe. Step 3, download the application.
In Louisiana, I lived in New Orleans, and for my fingerprints, I had to go and drive about the same distance up to Baton Rouge to get my fingerprints done. So,
As of January 9th, 2023, the application can now be completed online. Complete the application and gather the following documents: a certified original copy of your birth certificate issued by Vital Statistics in the state in which you were born. No photocopies are allowed. A copy of the certificate of completion of your firearms training, a copy of your New Mexico driver's license or identification card, and release forms and any other supporting documentation. Send your paper application and supporting documents to the address you see on the screen. Lastly, you will be notified within 30 days if your application has been approved. If you are approved, your permit is valid for 4 years, but license holders must complete a 2-hour refresher firearms training course 2 years after the issuance of an original or renewed license. Licenses for members of the military, law enforcement officers, retired law enforcement officers are valid for 5 years. There you have it, the 5 necessary steps for applying for your New Mexico concealed handgun license.
Why do military and police get preferential treatment here? When I lived in Louisiana, I worked with a cop, an ex-NOPD officer, for like 25 years. After he retired, he worked for me at the dog kennel. And, you know, we talk a lot. And he, you know, you get to know each other. And he straight up told me, you have more range time than most of the officers on the force. So why do they get preferential treatment on their concealed carry permit over somebody who would crave training? It doesn't make sense. It's weird. So there's that. That was a pretty good video. Kind of let you know all the hoops you have to jump through. I got this. It's pretty long, and it's a lot of this it's all the new handgun rules here in the state, so we'll be going over that maybe. I don't know about tonight. Let's go over the laws here in New Mexico in case anybody here stumbles upon this and you know, lives in New Mexico. Reaching out to New Mexico peeps now. All right. Lawful open carry, duty to notify only when asked by the officer. It's legal in state parks. Firearms in establishments that have a license for dispensing of alcoholic beverages are unlawful unless you have a valid permit and the restaurant derives no less than 60% of its annual revenue from the sale of food, and they only sell beer and wine, no hard liquor. Concealed carry on college campuses is illegal. In schools, permits may have a loaded gun in their car. Church-to-church basis. Hotels, reference article on page 67. Is that this? It only has 40 pages. Let's see. Secure storage. There are legal consequences if it leads to a minor gaining access. No restriction on magazine capacity. No restriction on suppressors. Handguns may be loaded and concealed in a vehicle. Uniform throughout states. So separate counties can't have their own like laws separate from the state that restrict or are more lenient, I guess. So it goes both ways. Applicant must complete a 15-hour course that includes live fire. Applicants must take ongoing training every 2 years. Non-residents who are military can get a permit. Constitutional, no. No duty to retreat. In New Mexico, licensees can only carry one concealed handgun at a time, although it is legal to carry more than one firearm. However, only one firearm may be concealed on your person at a time. This restriction does not apply to firearms carried in your vehicle, on or off your person. School and university premises, except in the vehicle if older than 19. Courts, tribal land, no guns on the tribal land. Public buses, airport security zone, federal properties, on private property where the owner has posted signs indicating that you may not carry or if the owner tells you you cannot. Now, is that just a trespassing charge? We'll have to look more into that. Open carry is restricted at or near polling places. Open carry is restricted at or near polling places. That's about it for that. Now, where I just moved from, when you have your permit, you are required to tell a police officer when contact is made. If you don't have a permit, you don't need to. Concealed carry is legal in the state parks. No restrictions in restaurants. College campuses prohibited. Permit can be in a loaded handgun at a school. So it's about the same. Church by church basis. No secure storage requirement. No restriction on magazine. Lawful suppressor ownership. Firearms may be carried openly or in the glove compartment. Firearms may be carried openly or in the glove compartment, console, or trunk of vehicle. All right, there are preemption laws in Louisiana, but only if they are pre-1985. And as far as I know, there weren't any that really affected anything that I was near. Applicants must complete a concealed carry course. It's 8 hours and must include live fire. That's what it was. It was an 8-hour course of laws and things like that. And then you had to prove you could use your firearm. It wasn't a training course necessarily on the firearm. You should already know how to use your firearm if you're going to be getting your concealed carry permit. Make sure you are responsible and well regulated for yourself and your weapons, you know. No non-resident. Constitutional carry, yes, effective July 4th, 2024. Hell yeah. No duty to retreat. All right, off limits. It's about the same. Law enforcement office, prison or jail, courthouse or courtroom. Although a judge can. Polling place, meeting place of the governing authority of a political subdivision, the state capital, any portion of the airport where the carrying of firearms is prohibited, any church, although the laws on that have changed recently. A parade or demonstration for which a permit is issued by a government entity. So that's important because of Mardi Gras. So they have that law in there because, you know, New Orleans is pretty crazy and a lot of shootings happen. In fact, there was a shooting just the other day at a parade, or it was a second line. It looks like they arrested one. Here we go. Anyway, while this ad is going, yeah, so it was pretty crazy. There were 2 shootings actually that day. There were a couple of injuries, like 10 people were injured in the first shooting, and then I think 2 people were killed in the next shooting. But usually with all the parades and everything, there's supposed to be like police escorts and stuff like that. And you're supposed to get a permit. So I don't know what was up with that. Hold on, here we go.
Prayer. In a statement, she says, quote, "We must the last half hour," and she's asking the community to stand together in prayer. In a statement, she says, quote, "We must remain vigilant in our support of the New Orleans Police Department and our law enforcement partners who are working tirelessly to bring those responsible for this horrific act to justice," end quote. Meanwhile, there is a $5,000 reward to find the suspects behind both of the scenes, and the New Orleans police chief is urging anyone with information to please come forward.
Yeah, and local leaders are really punctuating the point these second lines should be safe spaces, and violence has no place anywhere near them.
WDSU reporter Ariel Brumfield joins us live with the latest on the search for suspects, as we are now waiting to get new information about a possible vehicle of interest.
That's right, you guys. Well, Chief Ann Kirkpatrick, she says those who were wounded in the shooting incidents yesterday, she says they are recovering and stable right now. And of course, as Shay mentioned, we learned of those 2 young men who actually lost their lives at the second line yesterday afternoon. But we did learn that those 2 shooting incidents happened about 45 minutes apart from each other. And we're told in the first shooting incident, we learned that there were 10 people who were shot. None of those were fatal, though. In the second shooting, we're told 3 people were shot, 2 people died. Kirkpatrick says there were 100 officers working the second line event, and claims after the first shooting incident, they made the decision to let the second line continue to not create chaos and to help with crowd control.
That was a failure on the police part. There were 100 officers there. The shooting still happened. 10 people were injured, and they were like, fuck it, you know. Let the good times roll, as they say over there in French.
Now, at this time, the investigators say they do not know if the shootings
Ridiculous.
were related. We are told there were 2 different guns used, and they're not sure the number of shooters who were out there yesterday. Now, one of the messages that we continuously heard from city leaders is just how much second lines are a part of the New Orleans culture, but also, more importantly, the need to tackle violence in the city.
It is a wonderful.
Here's Happy Gilmore's
Second
grandma.
lines are a wonderful culture of this city and will continue to be so. But we have got to work together with the community to prevent any potential for violence in our second lines.
I just want to emphasize to everyone here to not generalize.
Rebuild in New Orleans East and get people jobs, get people working, get people some money, and you got to start at the bottom. It's a social economic problem there.
Relative to an activity, and just recognize that we must do everything that we can to make the full weight of the criminal justice system come down on the individual or individuals who are found to have committed this crime.
And the NOPD also shared that the victims' age ranges range from 71 years old to 20 years old. Reporting from the NOPD headquarters, I'm Ariel Brumfield, WDSU News.
So anyway, that's why. So of course, you know, the law doesn't matter because the criminals already don't follow the laws. So I carried at every parade I went to. I wasn't going to be caught up in anything. Nope. Any portion of a permitted area of an establishment that has been granted a Class A general retail permit, as defined in Part 2 of Chapter 1 or Part 2 of Chapter 2 of Title 26 of the Louisiana Revised Statute of 1950, to sell alcoholic beverages for consumption on the premises. So, a bar. Any school firearm-free zone as defined by that code. So up there it says you can have one in your car, just not in the actual spot. 5 years or lifetime, like I said earlier. Let's see, Neil McKenzie is talking about Arizona. Only when asked by the officer. Restaurant serving alcohol only if they post a restriction. The restrictions have force of law. That's important. Churches, you can only have an unloaded weapon in your vehicle. Same thing for schools. But in college campuses, guns may in vehicles on college campuses. As to campus carry, schools individually decide the weapons policy. I wonder if there are any schools in Arizona that allow concealed carry. No restrictions. So you can get a permit. A hunter safety education course counts. That's cool. They do issue permits to non-residents. That's cool. And they are constitutional carry. It extends to both residents and non-residents with no permit required to open carry at 18 and none required to conceal carry at 21. Off limits, commercial, nuclear, or hydroelectric generating stations. It's like some James Bond stuff right there. Game refugees. Permit's good for 5 years. Take a training course. That's it. So I was kind of looking through this. They do have, again, this is the New Mexico Concealed Handgun Carry Act of 2003 with rules and regulations as amended in 2005, 2010, 2015, and 2016. And down here, excuse me, I saw some stuff about like you have to transfer your weapons. Like if your grandpa wants to give you a shotgun here, you guys got to go to a FFL and get it transferred. It's pretty ridiculous. The 7-day waiting period is pretty ridiculous. Let's see, 7-day waiting period. On March 4th, 2004, Communist puppet Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham signed into law House Bill 129, which made important amendments to the criminal offenses chapter of the New Mexico statutes. Among these changes is the new mandatory 7-day waiting period for the purchase of firearms. House Bill 129 created a new section of New Mexico statutes: unlawful sale of firearms before required waiting period ends. Sorry. A waiting period of 7 calendar days shall be required for the sale of a firearm and the transfer of the firearm to the buyer. This waiting period shall include the period of time required to conduct a federal instant background check, a NICS check. If the background check takes longer than 7 days, the seller must wait to transfer the firearm until the background check is completed. If the background check is not completed within 20 days, however, the seller may, but is not required to, transfer the firearm to the buyer. You guys remember that. It's important. I believe that's federal law. Unlawful sale of a firearm before the required waiting period ends consists of the transfer. Sorry, I skipped one. The firearm shall remain in the custody of the seller or the federal firearms license performing the federal instant background check during the entirety of the waiting period. So that's like if you buy something from like Palmetto State Armory, you still have to go through that 7-day waiting period. Unlawful sale of a firearm before the required waiting period ends consists of the transfer of ownership, possession, or physical control of the firearm for the seller to the buyer before the end of the required waiting period, but does not include temporary possession or control of the firearm provided to a customer by the proprietor of a licensed business in the conduct of that business. Each party to an unlawful sale of the firearm before the waiting period ends is in violation. Each firearm sold contrary to the provisions of the section constitutes a separate offense. Whoever violates it is guilty of a misdemeanor. It does not apply to a buyer who holds a valid federal firearms license, a FFL, a buyer who holds a concealed carry license. So if I get my concealed carry, then I don't have to go through that 7-day waiting period. A law enforcement agency between two law enforcement officers authorized to carry a firearm and certified pursuant to federal law or the Law Enforcement Training Act, or between immediate family members. Immediate family member is defined as spouse, parent, child, sibling, grandparent, grandchild, or great-grandchild, a niece, nephew, first cousin, aunt, or uncle. Okay, so I guess you don't if your grandpa's trying to give you something. That's good to know. This law took effect on May 15th, 2024. So that's about it. So there we go. Make sure you guys check out the stealth camping videos. I got some playlists. Got a playlist of all the stealth camping videos here. Got the EDC belts, multi-tools, fire stuff, knives. This was the latest stealth camp I did with my cousin Grandpa Easy. It was pretty fun. We did it at the Rio Grande River, and then the one before I did it at the Mississippi River. So 2 river stealth camps in a row. We got some core stuff. Core's really nailing it right now. They really have some good stuff. The glasses are awesome. So check it out. If you guys don't, please follow me on Twitter, or X as it's now called. If you guys do X, got the spice over here, you know what I mean? I think I'm going to be able to live stream, multi-stream here on YouTube and on Rumble and on X at the same time. I know if I go through like the Rumble, the Rumble studio, I know I can multi-stream on like 4 different things. So let's see. Here are my previous live streams from Rumble. So anyway, you can follow me everywhere at Deep South EDC. And yeah, I had fun hanging out with you guys. It's fun doing live streams again. I got a new setup here. Got a new microphone, couple cameras. This one here is actually my GoPro that I film all my videos on, so that's pretty cool. And then Big Me here is just a cheap little webcam. Got some stuff in the background, you know. Got the little gnome here next to the emergency home preparedness book, which, by the way, this book is like $15. It's really awesome. If you are new to like prepping and stuff, it's a good like guide to get you going. It doesn't really go too far into specifics necessarily, but it does go through like getting you started, like sample first aid kits and stuff like that. All of the pictures in here, there are a few, but all of the pictures are in color. Here we go. So that's pretty cool too. It's by EJ Snyder. If you guys watched like Naked and Afraid, he was the, I don't know, main naked guy who wasn't afraid. I think he did really well on all of his challenges and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a good book so far. I'm almost done with it. I'll do a review when I'm done. I'll try to finish that up by this weekend. I also have a video I'm going to be making on the med kit on that battle belt, like I said. So look out for those two. And yeah, I appreciate everybody hanging out with me tonight. And, you know, it's a crazy one out there. So stay well regulated. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.